What is up YouTube? Welcome to my new video about niche heroes in Heroes of the Storm. The heroes that we're going to discuss today are Valeera, Mediv, Sylvanas and Rexxar. All four heroes who can be a really powerful pick, however are quite tricky when it comes to drafting them in Hero League. And the first hero that we're going to talk about is Rexxar. And we've got hot slots open with all the Hero League matches with a hero level 5+ in the last 7 days. And Rexxar should be somewhere in the middle, 50.7% win rate. But his popularity is only 3.4%, he's only been played 1.6k games. However, Rexxar can be extremely powerful in the right scenario. Rexxar's weaknesses are basically he's weak in team fighting, his damage is not that strong, his peel is not that great, and his sustained is not really interesting as well. However, his kit with Misha is designed to be able to hold any point in a 1v1 scenario. So the two maps Rexxar can actually work is Rexxar's Holdout and Dragonshire. Dragonshire, it's still a big maybe because the map is really dynamic. It's not even that big map. There are going to be a lot of rotations and you're gonna get ganked a lot on the top lane. So holding the top lane is gonna get a bit tricky compared to Rexxar's Holdout, where it's a really big map with only 2 lanes. If someone from the bot lane wants to rotate top, it's gonna take 10 to 15 seconds. You should be able to see them coming, while bots should be able to press the advantage in any 4v3 scenario. So that's already at your advantage. The second thing is that he's not actually able to lose the point against any 1v1 matchup. There are a lot of matchups, for example Alarak, who should be able to win the lane against Rexxar. However, Rexxar should still be able to hold that beacon. How you want to play Rexxar if you know that you're not really gonna win that matchup, for example against a Leoric or against an Alarak. You just want to play it really passively. You want to get Bird of Prey at level 1 for your wave clear. And just wait until the beacon comes up. Just wave clear. And the moment you have 15 seconds left on the beacon, move Misha to that point and let Misha stay on that. So the moment the beacon comes up, she is capping it. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna focus on wave clearing with Rexxar. The enemy hero needs to decide whether he goes for the beacon or he goes for the wave clear. If he goes for the beacon, he's gonna lose that wave of soak. If he goes for the wave of soak, you're gonna get control over the beacon. But especially at level 4 with Hungry Bear, very few heroes are actually capable of killing your Misha early game, especially the solo laners. For example, Greyman might be able to kill Misha, but you should definitely win against him in a 1v1 scenario because he has absolutely no form of self-sustain. So just keep Misha on the beacon, keep wave clearing yourself and you should be able to hold top, which should at least secure 50% of the objective. With a little bit of luck, your team bot is also capable of getting the objective, at least for a little bit of time, getting that Zerg wave and getting that early advantage. So in that scenario, Rexxar is genuinely really strong. The second hero that we're going to talk about is Sylvanas, which might sound weird for a niche hero, because if we look her up on Hotslogs, she's played over 10,000 times in the last 7 days with a win rate of 51%. And that's why I also think that Sylvanas is not necessarily niche and low MMR, but the higher you get, the more niche she gets. I mean, if we look to HDC, you won't actually ever see Sylvanas being played there. And that is because if you're behind on a map, getting that comeback with Sylvanas is really difficult. However, if you're at the advantage with Sylvanas, snowballing is really easy as well. And the great thing about Sylvanas, especially if you're playing a little bit of lower MMR, people tend to struggle with getting the most value from a kill. A kill on itself does not secure you any value. You need to do something with the time a person is dead. And with Sylvanas it's just obvious because you do want to push. You want to push in that fort, you want to push in that keep. On higher MMR, people tend to know actually a bit better what to do with a kill. And Sylvanas becomes a bit more niche. In my opinion, the only reason where you can actually draft Sylvanas is if she's also capable of securing the objective and then snowballing with it. And the only map where she's actually capable of helping in a positive way compared to other heroes on securing an objective is the Battlefield of Eternity. Her PvE damage on single target is insanely strong. It's one of the highest heroes before level 10. So getting Sylvanas and just raising the first 2 Immortals will actually help you secure the objective. And with the first Immortal with Sylvanas, you should be able to get a 4th. The second, who knows, maybe even a keep, well, or even a keep. So on that map, it's definitely nice to draft the Sylvanas there. Late game, you should already have the advantage from the early game, as her late game failure tends to be a little bit more weaker. More heroes would do more damage on the Immortal than Sylvanas late game. And also late game, you're not really gonna race, you're actually gonna fight for it. But at that point, you already want to have the experience, you want to have the structural advantage to press that advantage and just win the game for you, just snowball from that point. If you do not want to play on Battlefield of Eternity or you're playing on a different map, I guess you could work on Guardian of Terror, Dragonshire, any map where there's an objective pushing in, Haunted Mines. For example, on Cursed Hollow, I mean, I know there are 2 bosses, but the objective itself is already your passive, so getting Sylvanas is not that great on that map. So that's something to take into consideration. The third hero we're going to talk about is Valeera. And Valeera's win rate is a little bit lower. It's 48%, popularity 8.1%. And generally, if you'd pick Valeera in Hero League, people will get salty at you. However, there's a place for Valeera. And first, what I like to say is that Zeratul always was a top tier hero. But for the past 1 or 2 months, he's really been decreasing in value. And he's actually not that meta anymore. Although nothing really changed about Valeera, just actually Zeratul becoming less value makes Valeera also a little bit of a better pick in that scenario where you need that backline stealthy, being able to get a kill. Where Valeera really shines though, is playing against any hero who's a little bit squishy and likes to dive into your backline. For examples are Genji, Zeratul, Tracer, heroes like that. For example, if Genji uses Dragon Blade and he jumps into your backline, just opening up with a silence, the stealth garrote, is extremely strong. I think the silence is about 2 seconds. But at that point, Genji jumped in. The enemy team is still trespassing your front line, right? So your entire backline, even your front line, is able to collapse on that silenced hero immediately. And it should guarantee you a kill. A 2-second silence is extremely useful there. So Valeera's place is playing against those kinds of heroes. I guess maybe even a Lunera with leaping strikes. She leap strikes in. You could just silence her before she leap strikes back. So you gotta think about heroes who are squishy and like to dive into your backline. Definitely pick Valeera there. Other scenarios, I'd still believe Zeratul is better, just because of his Void Prison. I mean, you can't compare Void Prison to a Smoke Bomb. Void Prison is so insanely strong, not only for the amazing combinations you can get off with APOC, Ring of Frost, Mosh Pit, Severa Smash, but also just for a disengage tool, to protect structures, to protect your core, to fight over different places. I mean, Void Prison is one of the strongest ultimates in game. So generally still pick Zeratul, but in that scenario where you're playing against the Genji, you can actually draft Valeera and can get a lot of value from her. The last hero we're going to talk about, it's going to be Mediv. At first, let's check Mediv's win rate on hot slots, because this is fairly interesting. Mediv's win rate is 37.6%, although his popularity is really low as well. But why is Mediv's win rate so low? If we look to his abilities, he has his wave clear and damage from his Q. He has his defensive from his force of will. He has the mobility from his portal, the vision from Raven form, and the crowd control from both his ultimates. And if we look to HDC, especially the European teams really prioritize Mediv in quite a bit of drafts. However, he does not necessarily work into Hero League, especially because it's just really difficult to play with a Mediv. A lot of people won't get that much value from the Mediv. They will be running away. The moment you put a portal down, they will not really expect it. They will still be running away and in the end die. And a lot of those things can happen. I do actually want to mention the ley line C into an A pocket is difficult to trigger, but that is definitely something that can be really nice. But you don't want to draft Mediv just for Diablo. You actually want to draft Mediv based on the enemy team. And that is mainly because of your force of will. Having a 1.5 second shield on a 5-second cooldown is extremely strong against bursty heroes, especially with the Kelto sub patch. This hero is able to almost one-shot every single one of the heroes. And his burst damage probably takes around 1.5 to 2 seconds. So getting your force of will on your ally hero during his burst will just prevent every single one of his damage and keep him alive completely. And also against other heroes who are really bursty, for example a Ceratul or even a Chromie, Mediv is really strong. However, if the enemy team is more sustained, getting value from Mediv in Hero League is really gonna be difficult. But however, another example is playing with Force of Will against Tracer. Tracer, it's gonna take her a minute to actually get her ultimate, get that Pulse Bomb back up, and the moment she pops it, you just pop your Force Will. With a 5-second cooldown, you can negate an entire ultimate from the Tracer. So those are the things you actually want to be looking for when you're picking Mediv. He still has a lot of damage just from getting that Master's Touch. It is important to complete it though, so play safe and start. But drafting Mediv in those kinds of scenarios is really strong. Together with Mediv, you just want to have a strong front line, you know, a good support, a good tank, a good damage dealer, and maybe that 4th spot as a sort of bruiser melee assassin, because you can actually go quite deep with the Mediv. So guys, I hope you guys like this guide about these niche heroes. I'll be uploading a little bit more of these kinds of videos in the future, and if you did like it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and take care guys.